In the beginning, God created the heavens and then the earth. But before the earth, among the council of heaven, there was dissent. An angel raising his frustration before God, a jealous angel that is struck down for his arrogance and sent to the burning lake of fire. This angel's name? Lucifer, the light bringer. Well, at least some say that angel's name is Lucifer. In biblical canon, that evil being is just called Satan, which gets doubly confusing because the word ha-satan, the basis for the name, means the Satan, and that just means the adversary, something that opposes. And in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verse 22, you can literally find an angel of the Lord being called a Satan against a traveling prophet Balaam, blocking his path. And in Job 1, very clearly, the Satan speaking to Adonai is a member of the heavenly council, and is likely another angel, and thus not the Satan that exists as a tempter and deceiver in the New Testament, because thought among the Judahites at the time and to some Jewish sects today is that Satan is just a metaphor for the evil inclinations of humanity. God, come on! Religion from 3,000 years ago that supposedly got a second revelation 2,000 years ago, and then again 1,300 years ago. Be consistent! Whatever. So, in light of that, we're going to be tackling Satan. The Satan is seen in the New Testament, who may or may not be Mastema, Shemihaza, or Satanael in the Book of Enoch, but who certainly is the red dragon that fought the Archangel Michael in Revelation, and is the basis for the Satan at the bottom of hell in Inferno, and the Satan of Milton's Paradise Lost, but not directly being either of them, since they are not consistent with the source material, or each other. Are we clear on that? Barely? Awesome. So let's go. How strong is Satan? Believe it or not, we don't get a lot of fighting Satan in biblical literature. And when we do, it's pretty clearly just God swatting him down and casting him out of heaven. In the final book of the Bible, however, we get his incarnation as the great Crimson Dragon, a monster with numerous heads and horns that battles the Archangel Michael. In one of his few displays of actual strength and power, the dragon lets loose with a swipe of his tail that brings down 1/3 of the stars in the sky. In my Powerscaling Michael video, we went over this, but the number of the observable stars in the Northern Hemisphere is somewhere between 4,000 and 10,000, meaning anywhere from 1,300 and 2,500 stars were sent careening towards Michael in a single blow. Now, since there isn't much in the way of science to move a star, which remains relatively stationary thanks to its immense mass when compared to the Earth, we have to use the energy required to destroy the sun, or to overcome the sun's gravitational binding energy, which thankfully I calculated in my Amaterasu video, as 2.276 times 10 to the 41 joules, or 5.439 times 10 to the 25 megatons. That's a 5, essentially followed by 25 megatons of TNT for one star. The sheer destructive capacity of this swing, being multiplied 2,500 times, is roughly equal to one foe, which is the energy emitted by a supernova. Supernovae, which are by their nature solar system erasing. This puts Satan's basic attacks in his draconic form into that solar system level of attack potency at minimum, and certainly higher, since these strikes are pulling stars from across the night sky, and thus rips them from their solar system. But that's unquantifiable, giving Satan comfortably multi-solar system levels of attack potency at a mid-ball, and potentially up to galaxy level as a high ball if the assumption can be made that amid those stars the Andromeda Galaxy is pulled down. But if that's too much, Satan is certainly in those multi-solar system levels of power, something shared by the Archangel, who defeated him, in fact. Normally I would go over durability next, but first, Satan, as the tempter and the corrupter, actually has unique abilities that need to be covered. Whilst tempting Jesus in the desert, Satan was able to take the pair of them to the top of the temple in an instant, showing the holy city below while taunting Christ to jump off so that the angels could save him. Something that, if it did happen, surely would have resulted in a pre-run of Revelation, but we'll get to that. Jesus' answer, "Do not put the Lord to the test." Unsatisfied with his answer, Satan took them to the top of the world to look down over it as his kingdoms, all in an instant, which means Satan could fly the pair to space, teleport, or project an image of the world with his abilities, all hoping to convince the Son of Man to kneel at his feet. To which Christ answered, according to Matthew 4:10, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." His draconic form can also call forth a great deluge that casts across the entire earth a flood, threatening to sweep all that face its path off the surface, though it was only directed at a single woman. Like most of his schemes, however, it is fooled by heaven, and the earth itself opens wide to consume the rushing waters, thus leaving the dragon's great breath worthless. If this power over the reality of the world, be it teleportation, conjuration, or perception, is not enough, Satan can manipulate the minds of the weak, whispering to fulfill their desires. These pale in comparison, though, to the full execution of his worldly authority. As in the end of days, as the horsemen race across the world, the dragon calls forth a beast from the sea, a beast with many heads akin to its own, and he bestows his authority. This authority enthralls all who are left on the world, except those who keep their faith in the Lord, and makes them kneel at the feet of the dragon and the first beast as if they were gods, only added to when the second beast emerges and the world falls even further into the thrall of these foul beasts. Yet, there's hope. And that's what brings us to our next category, durability. Satan is strong enough to cast stars from their places in the heavens, but he cannot stand against the angels of the Lord. The aforementioned Archangel Michael was more than capable of defeating him, while also sustaining attacks from his full power, which should give Satan durability equivalent to his attack power, if not more, as he could be cast into the lake of fire, while only suffering minor injuries from the fall, and having to be trapped there by great chains, though not being so strong that even after that he can break free. And he can be let out by the chains without hope of resistance. At the end of it all, it is fire that wipes the dragon from the world for good, a divine conflagration that sunders the devil and his ilk and leads the world to a new age, showing that no matter how durable he may seem, Satan in his evil ways is nothing before the might of Adonai and the redeeming righteousness of his Son. Speed-wise, Satan's attacking speed has to exceed the speed of light to a massive degree, to be able to pull stars from the sky with its swinging, as he does not conjure them to the earth with his teleportation. This gives Satan combat and reaction times massively faster than light, though to what degree is unknown. At minimum, and using the nearest star to Earth, Proxima Centauri, which is 4.25 light years away, and ascribing it being brought to Earth in a second would mean his tail is traveling 134 million times the speed of light. Yet, despite all that speed, he did little to slow Michael and proved useless against God. Satan stands within the ranks of those that can toy with stars and alter entire solar systems with simple movements. His speed dictates that he's nearly impossible to see, and his words alone can toy with an individual. But despite all of his powers, be that over the world or over the cosmos, his aggressive power and destructive temperament prove useless. If one holds firm to their faith, no arrow fashioned against them shall prosper. Despite the words of a malevolent foe tempting and pulling them along, the good shepherd will appear to gather his lost sheep, and with his voice cast away the darkest of days. So says the Lord, away with you, Satan. As always, stay hydrated, be good people, and thanks for watching.